Nazism and the rise of Hitler. Inside this chapter, we are going to discuss about the birth of the Weimar Republic, Treaty of Versailles, the effects of the war, political radicalism and economic crisis, the years of depression. Under it, we will discuss about the effects of Weimar Republic. So let's begin now. We are going to discuss about the World War One. We know that there were two different groups were made under this whole country. The one were the central power and the another were the alliance power. So this alliance power, it means that friendly group. So this group, mainly the important countries were the UK, France, Russia. And afterwards, the another countries as like US, Japan, they all joined. And the another hand side, we having here German Empire, Austro-Hungary, Ottoman Empire, Bulgaria. So these all were the countries, those who were from the central power, because they were in the center of the world, center of the European countries. So we are going to discuss about these two different group which were formed, and this World War One was started because they want to become much more powerful and they want to enlarge their countries. So when Germany started increasing his land surface, in that case, Germany initially made gains by occupying France and Belgium. When we are discussing about the Germany, he fought the First World War from 1914 to 1918, along with the Austrian Empire and against the alliance of the alliance country as like alliance group as like England, France, and Russia. So finally, when these two different groups were fighting among each other under the World War One, where in the year of 1917, US joined the Allied group, and that group became much more powerful, and that's the reason. And at last of this World War, Alliance won, defeating Germany and the Central Powers in 1918. So finally, this Allied group they won, and this another hand side, that Central Power group defeated. So the Central Power groups lost this war of World War One. Now we're going to discuss about the Weimar Republic. This Weimar Republic, especially known as the history of Germany after the World War One and before the rise of Nazi Party. So between this group was there that were known as Weimar Republic. So what was the impact of World War One? On that time, unfortunately, the infant Weimar Republic was made to pay for the signs of the old empire. So whatever happened in that case, this Weimar republics were unfortunately made in hurry. So this group, those who were forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles. So this Weimar Republic was adopted on 11th August 1919. In its 14 years, the Weimar Republic faced numerous problems. So what were the numerous problems were there? As like when this Treaty of Versailles was signed, this Treaty of Versailles was signed on 28th June 1919, which were known as the Versailles Peace Treaty. So under this, Germany lost its overseas colonies, a tenth of its population. Next, 13th of its territory. So these all area, this Germany they lost. Next point, 75% of its iron and 26% of its coal to France, Poland, Denmark, and Lithuania. So these all area he have to give to these all countries. Next, to weaken its power, the Allied powers demilitarized Germany. So these all are the main thing were happening with this Germany, and they were facing problem. They were the war guilt cause forced Germany to pay compensation amounting to 6 billion pound. So whatever the world war happened, whatever the people they died and the equipments they lost or were end up, so these all things were totally who were the guilty for these all things. They all told that Germany country they are just because of them this World War One happened, so they have to pay 6 billion pound. The resources rich that area that was Rhineland, so was occupied by the Allied armies for such of the 1920s. So these all were the impact of the First World War. So this treaty were signed that were known as the Versailles Peace Treaty, which was signed on 28th June 1919. So, the Weimar Republic, the impact of World War I devastated Germany. The punitive nature of the Treaty of Versailles made it worse. That made worse for the Germany people. The Weimar Republic went from crisis to crisis from 1918 to 1924. And then afterwards, we will see that how by 1933, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, Nazis, emerged victorious. So, in between this, you can see one more another different word, that is November criminals, which was started in the year of 1918 in the month of November. That's why it's known as November criminals. According to them, many Germans also believed that the glorious Germany army and nation had not lost the war but had been betrayed by Jews, socialists, and communists at home. So many Germans hated the government for signing the armistice in November 1918. They called them the November criminals. So the defeat in the war came as a huge surprise to the German people, which led to a theory that the brave German army had been stabbed in the back by the politicians. So these were known as the November criminals. Next, we are going to discuss about the political radicalism and economic crisis. So, under this, we will see that when this Germany fought war largely on loans. So, when this Germany they were participating in the World War One, they fought this war while taking loan from the another countries and had to pay war or thing in gold. So whatever the amount they had taken as a loan, and they have to pay in golds, they have to return that all amount. So this depleted gold reserves in 1923, Germany refused to pay. So finally, when this all gold they have to give to back for just paying for the as their loan what they had taken before. So this all gold reserves were started declining, and due to this, at last, Germany refused to pay. So this Germany started printing paper currency. It has produced that much money, which lead to the fall of currency. So what happened in that case? So many people they started printing the new currencies of Germany. In that case, that amount of this things was started declining. The amount of money of Germany was started declining. In April, the $1 was equal to 24,000 marks. That marks is the currency of Germany on that time. So this $1 is equal to 24,000. But when we will see in the another month, as like in July month, the amount of that same $1 is equal to total 53000 marks. And then again in August, the amount of this currency of Germany was started falling. This crisis came to be known as hyperinflation, which you can see under this graph, that how this hyperinflation graph is shown here, as like the amount of $1 was before, it was just less amount, and slowly according to this April, July, October, and the next April, July, the another year, so this all amount was started declining, which were known as inflation. Next, we are going to discuss about the years of depression. So German investments were totally dependent on short-term loans, largely from the USA. The support was withdrawn when Wall Street Exchange crashed in 1929. So what happened now that when USA they given the loan for some time and for short period of time, and then afterwards when they were unable to give the loan, the everything was totally crushed. The Germany started facing problem in that case. This support was withdrawn when Wall Street Exchange crashed in 1929. So when this Wall Street Exchange was crushed in the year of 1929. So the US were unable to give the loan to the Germany country, and which created a great problem for the US for the Germany country. On 24th October, 13 million shares were sold. So this was the start of the Great Depression. So this was the Great Depression for the Germany country on that time. Due to it, workers lost their jobs or given less wages. So many people they lost their jobs and the wages was much more less. So 6 million people get unemployed and people can be seen on the streets wearing placards and it was written on it willing to do any work, which you can see under this diagram also. In the left hand side, the child is holding one card and it's mentioned that why cannot you give if my dad a job. So these type of pamphlets were shown everywhere on that time in France, in this Germany road, which you can see. Thank you.